just as an explanation, for example, the greatest common divisor of like 12 and 16, right, it's going to be 4, because 4 is like the largest positive integer that's like a factor of both 12 and 16, right? Because like, 4 is a factor of 12, 4 is a factor of 16, and 4 is like the largest possible number that is a factor of both. So like, just as like a mathematical definition, if you want, like in general, it's oftentimes if you want to find the greatest common divisor of two numbers, you often write it as like GCD. Oh yes. So GCD stands for greatest common divisor. So GCD stands for greatest common divisor, and GCF stands for greatest common factor. So these two things, greatest common divisor, greatest common factor, they're essentially the same thing. There's like no difference between them. Like you can see, like some places will call it greatest common divisor, other places might call it greatest common factor. Like they mean the exact same thing. Like there's no difference between them. But today we're just gonna call it GCD. I think I see GCD more. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but throughout this lecture, I'm just gonna be calling it greatest common divisor instead. Okay, so yeah, so let's see. So the greatest common divisor in like mathematical terms, like you often write greatest common divisor as GCD. Like the GCD of A and B, this means like the greatest common divisor of A and B. And again, as with the example, it's basically like the largest positive integer D, so that D is a factor of A and D is a factor of B. So like as we just saw, GCD of 12 and 16 is 4. And like GCD of like, I don't know, 10 and 20 is going to be 10. And like, and just another example, GCD of, and just know that you don't just have to have like the greatest common divisor of only two numbers. You can have like multiple numbers. For example, if you have the numbers like 28, 35, 14, and like 42, this would be 7, because 7 is like the largest positive integer that's a factor of 28, 35, 14, and 42.